Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about art exercises that can help unlock your imagination. So let's say you're kind of in a rut. I've talked about this before in previous videos, but you're in a rut and you don't really know where to start for a page of sketches. So what you could do is take a marker, okay, light gray preferably. It could be warm gray, cool gray, doesn't matter. Just make sure that it doesn't really go anywhere past 10 to 15%. And then we can start splashing on some shapes here with just a gray marker. So the reason we're doing this is because we're eventually going to turn these into small robots. And this is always fun. This is my industrial design inner voice talking right here. And the cool thing about robots is it goes hand in hand with creatures if you want to stay with creatures. But essentially, you just take the fat end of the marker and you see what kind of shapes can come out when you start applying them to the paper. So you'll notice I'm not really caring about where things go. And the other cool thing about that is when you start laying down the ink on top of this, because we'll be drawing with a pen, we're going to start adding in machine parts and panels, and these things could be small robots, probes, old dilapidated, I don't know, machine parts that maybe don't work anymore, they're not in commission. This is very versatile too, because you could be doing stuff for an industrial design project, and let's say that you're coming up with some kind of device for a specific client or a company, and you're needing specific, or not necessarily specific, you're just needing a bunch of silhouettes really quickly. This can help do it, so you don't have to rely on details with just a pen. Okay, and the reason I'm using the fat end of the marker is because it takes care of a lot of space right off the bat. So looking at these are just gray splotches right now. Okay, there's nothing fancy about that. And if you're drawing along with me, just look at your paper and go, okay, I'm going to keep going. I don't really care about what each shape looks like. I can always turn it into something later. Because how many times have we wanted to draw a robot and it turns out to be something horrible looking and it doesn't look like a robot? It's because we were thinking too hard about it. Alright, so these silhouettes that we're drawing with all these big marker strokes, it's already filling in a lot of the gaps. It's just up to us to piece together with a pen what is a wire and what is a pipe. And that's what makes it so much fun. And look how quickly I just did 6 already. Okay, so this right here can give you a full project for your portfolio. Alright, so let's go to, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go to 7. Try something a little different. Maybe something a little bigger and curved. Maybe this is a futuristic city where they send hovercraft probes and they, you know, kind of like a Minority Report, or probes to send out for reconnaissance. That'd be kind of cool. None of these are actual robots per se, because they don't really have big legs and arms that can help it walk. I mean, they might, but they're most likely just hanging down from it. And those can always be not spare parts, but maybe parts from the probes that aren't really useful anymore. They just kind of hang down. Maybe they're sensors, who knows. All right, there we go. Okay, so right off the bat, I have 9 of these. So the next step, let's grab a pen, see what I got. Oh yeah, I got my colorful pen again. I actually don't know where my ballpoint pen is that I've been using, so I need to go to the store and get some more. Okay, so let's start doing it. Let's first name these, or let's first number these. Okay, 3. I'm old school too, so I'm going to make this as analog as possible. I'm not going to do anything fancy here. There's just something so rewarding and pleasing and, I guess, soothing to the soul when you can just draw on paper and doodle and have fun with it at the same time. Okay, so let's see what we can do. So the pen I'm using, I have no idea where I got it. I think my boys found this somewhere at their daycare, maybe. Maybe in my oldest son's in kindergarten, so maybe he found it there. But I'm going to start playing with these shapes here without really worrying about exact machinery or joints. I'm just going to hint at what could be versus what actually would be later. So that means the refinement stage, a direction that is chosen, things like that. Okay, so now I'm just paying attention to the outline of what I gave with the marker, and I'm going to see if I can really play up on those shapes. So maybe some off-the-wall mechanical joints here that might function or might not. Okay, I'll put in a little bit darker of lines just so it can give the indication of some shadow. I mean, we're talking like real clunky type of technology. Maybe this is a point in the future where people had to rebuild a city that has been devastated by war, or maybe a natural disaster, or maybe it's set in the far, far future where history kind of repeats itself, they say, and maybe we had to go back to the drawing board and start making machines that could better our lives. I keep referencing in my head the movie Elysium. I love that movie. I'm a big Neil Blomkamp fan, so any movie he comes out with, I love. And you saw how clunky some of the technology is in those movies, and Chappie too. But they all worked, and they're all good. There we go. Okay, so I try to imagine that maybe the light source really isn't established yet. I'm just kind of showing off the outline in general, because above all, the silhouette is the most important part. All right. So if you're drawing along with me, that's awesome. Let me know what you do. Join our Discord. Check the links in the description below. And if you join the Discord, we have plenty of space there for posting your personal work, taking advantage of the monthly creature design challenges, and we also have a really big growing reference forum there too for animals and sci-fi fashion and ships and creatures. It's just a lot of fun. And if you post your work there, we can always critique it and look over it, see what's working, what isn't. Oh, this is kind of cool. I've always been a big fan of cables and pipes. I think they just look neat when you're connecting an area to another area. I'm trying not to stray too far off of what the original silhouette was doing, so if I'm adding detail in between the outline, that's okay. The lines that I'm putting in here right this second, if you can't see them, are following where the marker stopped. Okay, so I'm just literally outlining the splash of the marker here. Okay. And as far as like what brand of marker to use, I mean, it doesn't matter. There's so many cool kinds. Like I just used Prismacolor for this. You can use Copic, you can use Ho2, all kinds of markers. So I'm going to put in some visible screws to show that it really is old school. And notice how I'm just playing up with different gestural lines here. So some of them are thicker, some of them are skinnier. That's what's really going to add depth to something like this. Something as simple as a thumbnail sketch, you can still add a lot of depth to. Okay, something like that. And then one of the things that I'm going to show you guys how to do after this is adding an accent color. So accent colors are great for robotic sketches and just product sketches in general, because it makes the thumbnail pop, but also it gives it a focal point. And you want to grow interest within your designs by adding focal points, which is why when you guys watch me draw my creatures, I tend to focus on the face because that's where the character and personality is. Or if I'm doing some kind of robotic weird alien shape, I'll put it in a place on the body where there's good details. Did you guys just hear my ESPN app go off? Yeah. Maybe I should pause that. I gotta turn that down. I have all my apps ready to go for sports just because, you know, football season is here. Can't wait. NFL. And I always have my ESPN open for my teams. You know, Bengals. Steeler fans out there, Chiefs fans out there, Ravens fans out there, I'm so sorry. But I'm a Bengals fan. That's because I was born and raised in Cincinnati, so I have a right to be a Bengals fan. Okay. Oh, also, I didn't even tell you guys this. I have a folded piece of just printer paper right behind this sheet because I'm putting marker on moleskin, and marker tends to bleed through moleskin. So, yeah, it just helps that way. Okay, so at the bottom of this particular silhouette, there's a lot of crazy cables hanging off here. And I think there's going to be a neat opportunity to have something really gritty and maybe thrown together as part of some kind of scientist's experiment, or military, or maybe like a resistance faction, where they piece together certain machine parts and they kind of make something work. I think that's what I'm going to do. There we go. And again, these aren't final. There's a lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff hanging off here, a lot of interpretation. This is going to be seen by a lot of people, and maybe each individual person is going to interpret these shapes differently. So for example, maybe this is a probe sideways, and then maybe this is some kind of weird machine part that fell off of a factory, or a piece of factory equipment. Maybe that's a camera, you know, and this one, maybe that's a part that was taken away from an engine. Like, there's so many cool capabilities here and possibilities. And we're at the point right now, the exploratory phase, where we don't have to define each face. We just have to come up with something that could potentially be awesome later. So like here, I'm just going to give the illusion that this is the underbelly. I'll probably darken those crazy contraptions hanging off of here just to give the illusion that there's no light underneath. It's also going to give nice indication of depth for my little machine part here. I should probably do the same over here too. There we go. And again, if you didn't catch my last video, I was trying to explain that there's a lot of construction equipment going on around my neighborhood. So you might hear jackhammers and big machines backing up. And and I had mentioned that part of the reason why I was drawing robots last week was because the construction equipment that we saw in my neighborhood, and just kind of motivated me to do it. Okay, so there's three. Let's move on to the fourth one. This one's a little cooler in the sense that bulbous shapes, so there could be some organic shapes in here, which is unique for placing them with machines. I don't even know the purpose of this, but we can see what happens. So that's kind of cool. They're almost like little creatures too. After all, this is not a strictly creature design channel, but it's close enough. There we go. By the way, thank you all for watching my live stream last time and trying to name the critter that I drew. We got some really good names. There we go. So this one's going to be a little bit simpler. I took some larger shapes here and I just defined them. Maybe I'll hatch in here, just single hatching direction, some shadow, and then that's obviously going to be dark. This is going to be dark. Let's just pretend that it's lit from above. I think I'll do that. I don't really know what to think about this shape. I think it probably needs something at the top, but I don't really want to add too much because I'm trying to honor what I had silhouetted with a marker. So maybe if hypothetically speaking, this thing was refined somewhere down the line, I would be able to add to it. Because I can always add stuff inside here, just little wires and little connectors. There we go. Okay, we got that. That one's kind of cool. Different, but I'll take different. Let's move on to number 5. Number 5 looks like it can have these very long, thin body parts running across the entire thing. Maybe there's some wires in here. I'm trying to honor, again, the outline of what I did with the marker. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty round shape at the bottom, so immediately I'm thinking, it might be dropping a small little grenade or a bomb on an enemy, or it's organic and that's its brain, and then it's controlling the rest of the machine above it. That would be kind of gnarly, actually. There's this little antenna there. Because there's a lot of opportunity inside all these little crevices for some really cool, intricate machinery and wires and pipes. There we go. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are working on currently. Like if you're in school, if you're drawing along with me and you found this inspiring. You know, I always try to help artists as much as I can. And, you know, if you have a lot of questions, I do see all comments. I can't answer all of them in depth. But if you join our Discord, check the links in the description, you can see that there's a lot more people that can possibly help you with specific portfolio questions or drawings that you're doing. Oh, that one's pretty clunky, actually. That literally looks like a dinosaur mouth. That was unintentional. Maybe this can be a brain and it's attaching to the machine. Very symbiote-like. There we go. Kind of clunky too, so maybe I'll round off some places. This I don't really like because it looks like a little T-Rex mouth, so I'll put some wires. There we go. I made sure not to cough right in the mic because I think in past videos I've scared you guys. I've had people comment on that too, like I've scared people by coughing too loud without warning. Okay, so let's move on. All right, let's see what happens in this one. That looks like a little robot. Totally not thinking it would have been a robot, but now it's almost like there's little arms coming out here. It's going to be asymmetrical. Maybe that part bends. That'd be kind of neat. So the bottom here, well, here's the thing. That could be the face, but at the same time, it's probably not going to have a lot of detail on it. So instead, I'm just going to play up the bottom here. It looks like something walking. Oh, what did I do? I have no idea what I just drew here, but it's kind of cool. Okay, maybe this is a visor to some kind of robotic spacesuit. Look at this. Here I was not wanting to draw humanoids, and I just drew a humanoid. And now I'm really liking it. And the cool thing about the progression is I wouldn't have gotten to this idea unless I had done the previous 5. So that's why it's always cool to go back and look at your old thumbnails because they can spark ideas. Something from 2-3 years ago, actually, if you're working on a current IP for a client or something, and you look at your old sketchbooks and you go, you know what, I always like that silhouette. And then you just use that one and refine it. Sometimes that works. Revisiting old work is a lot of fun. It's also not easy. I'm avoiding that hand. I don't think I want to give it hands right now. Maybe I'll give it like a little wire. That's definitely in shadow. Okay, that will be. Let's just put the front right there. I'm picking and choosing where I want those shadows to be, just as long as it's relatively consistent. Okay, last row. So we got some cool probe looking things, some more actual robots, maybe with heads and mouths. I don't know where this is going. These seem to be a little bit more insectoid. So let's see if we got some biomechanoid shapes here. So I'm just going to do the large plating first. There we go. Kind of looks like a dinosaur just standing there, holding a pipe. Down here could be a leg, very thick leg, and then the other one. Okay, so that's what we have, and I didn't even mean to do that. We have like a little critter, bipedal, and it's standing there. So I originally wanted to keep the smaller robots for the theme today, but this is what it has evolved into. So thank you all for going with me on this weird journey of strange machine shapes started with a marker. Okay, and we don't really want any more detail than that. We don't need that. There we go. Looks like somebody is using their wood chipper. You might hear that. Okay, what a crazy looking head that is. It just looks like a little stegosaurus looking thing holding a like a rolled up map or something. Oh, the fun of thumbnailing. Everybody's going to interpret it differently, including me. And that's what makes it so much fun. A little tail in the back. A little more shadow right here, right underneath that plate. There we go. And you can always just jump in here and add some smaller details. You can gesture across here to kind of fill the gap and also add some texture. Maybe give it some more paneling. Not really worried about joints. It's just the overall shape. A little shadow for the tail here. There we go. Okay, so we are going to finish off these last two. I'm really intrigued by these two. They almost feel like aliens without them being actual machines. Kind of reminds me of the movie Battle Los Angeles. I think Battle LA, Battle Los Angeles. Comment below if you've seen that movie. It's when Aaron Eckhart, it's where the aliens come in on the beach and then they just attack the city. Just really gritty, very underrated sci-fi movie. I like it a lot. But the shape here, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. But I'm trying to honor what I did with the marker. So let's see what happens. Because remember, we're doing machines, so I need to show the paneling and like the gaps in here where there might be a joint. Of course, also the fun thing about doing machines this early in the game, well, not an actual game, but this early in the drawing process, is that any machine part that you're drawing, you're essentially making up until you have to go in and give the functionality of it. Like, how does it really move and animate? What are the joints like? This is just the fun design phase where we can get cool shapes in here. So it looks like there's a lot of scrap pieces hanging off the belly of this thing. There we go. So much left open for interpretation. I mean, this could be anything. This could be an exhaust nodule to some kind of factory equipment, or maybe this is a part inside of a spaceship, you know. Or, hey, it could be a reconnaissance probe. Who knows? Maybe we'll add like an antenna. A couple of them. So it picks up all kinds of signals. That'd be kind of neat. And you can find it anywhere it is within a 400-mile radius. I'm just thinking as I'm drawing. Just Just trying to put my own creations in context, see what the heck I'm doing. So maybe the end of that tube is a hand. There we go. It's a mechanical hand, similar to those crazy Skill Master machines where you can grab toys out of with that mechanical hand that never grabbed a toy. Ugh. So many times I got close at winning stuff in arcades and it just wouldn't grab it. And they do that on purpose. They put the stuff in there that can't be gripped. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing to number 9 here. And remember, after this, if you're sticking around, stick around a little bit longer, because you can then watch as I put accent colors on here and really make some of this stuff pop. So here I am just trying to honor the silhouette that I had drawn with the marker. Even the gaps in here where the marker didn't cover, those could be holes in the machine. There we go. Okay, that's a really sharp angle, so maybe it's supposed to be, and then the rest of this is leaning a little bit. This looks like a little weighted bell. Alright, so maybe this one, maybe all the stuff that would need to make it go forward is right up here in this compartment. So you can see how I'm overlapping a lot of dark, medium, and light gestural lines to try to add depth without going crazy about adding depth. Because you don't want to spend too much time on that, otherwise you'll spend 15-20 minutes on one sketch and you won't have time to really do anything. There we go. That's all I need. I don't need any more than that. Details. That looks like an astronaut helmet, doesn't it? A little bit. It wasn't intentional. I'm just following what I did with the marker. Kind of gross, actually. Okay, so the next step would be to add some accent colors to really make this pop. So let's do that. Okay, let's have some fun here. So I just got an orange Copic marker, and I'm going to put some accent colors in here. Like right there, maybe one little strip going down here that's bleeding over the line work. And I want to switch up these colors. Okay, so I'll just maybe put red on certain ones. This actually, I don't know if this is really red. Yeah, I think it is red. All right, so maybe red can go right here, and then maybe there. That would be cool. Let's do another red one down here, inside there, and then we'll put red color right here. I'm just putting these in spots that I think they could stand out based on the shape of the silhouette. All right, now let's put in this cool orange color. So maybe this whole panel right here has a nice color to it. And then what should we do with our old pal Ralph down here? Isn't Ralph cute? Here, we'll give him an orange head and then a stripe down the body, and then maybe a stripe down the rest of the body. There you go. I hope he enjoys that. And we can't forget our good old pal green. Okay, you can't have concept art without green. Alright, so this is a little bit deeper of a color. Okay, so maybe back here this panel only is green. This is why it's good to use pen and then put the accent color on top of the pen, because it doesn't really matter if it stays inside the line. What matters is the pen will show up through the marker. You can't do this really with pencil. You just got to be careful because the graphite will just bleed away. But with a pen, the pen work still shows up, so that's kind of cool. And it gives a nice natural outline without you really having to worry about anything. Oh, we can't forget this one down here. There we go. We can even combine some too. So let's say we don't want to do it too much. We want to keep these as simple as possible. So I think this one's kind of feeling neglected. So maybe we'll put red and green on this one. That's not red, that's hot orange, I'm sorry. I keep saying red, and I know that's not red. It looks red, but it's not. Okay, and then once here. Okay, there we go. So hopefully you found this lesson awesome and helpful. Please comment below and let me know what you guys are working on. And if you're doing high school assignments, college assignments, if you're trying to work on personal projects for your portfolio, I invite you to join our Discord. If you have any questions, you can answer them in there, and more people can help you. And they can also point you in the right direction with critiques, and I'll join in. So thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Hope this lesson was helpful, and I'll see y'all later.